Welcome back to episode 22 of On the Wild. I'm Anuj Basker. With me, as always, Riley Keenan. I'm going to start off. Did you see that thing about Subway?
No, what happened? Like, bad, like, press Subway? Or
Yeah,
like,
no, like, bad.
What
happened? It was bad.
They,
like, this group of scientists did, like, a study on their tuna and found no species. There's no tuna in their tuna.
No fish, no
it's
meat.
It's not an animal. It's not a fish.
So it's not even like, oh, they put horse in it. Like, they literally don't have...
They can't find... I don't know if it was a species at all or just tuna itself, but yeah, it's not tuna at all.
I'm already not a big Subway guy.
I'm not either.
But that makes me want to go there even less.
I've never had their tuna, so, like, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
But
like,
if you have...
Yeah, like, that's just whack. Like, also, like, you can't just sell that to people. Like,
I know. Like,
that shouldn't be allowed.
That's just unethical.
Is there not, like, a certain grading system that has to go through before it gets to
you have to get, like, FDA approved?
Yeah, like there's got to be something. Because that's just whack. Because even, like, the chicken, sometimes I see them like, that's not chicken.
That's not, yeah.
Like
those
chicken
breast.
Yeah, like the long ones.
Yeah.
The little pieces, I'm like, that's chicken.
Okay.
The long ones, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Even the steak,
Sauce.
too, because it's, like, doesn't fully taste like steak.
It's sus.
Yeah.
It's sus. Subway's always been kind of sus. And their bread, I learned about this a long time ago. They put the same chemical in their bread that they do put in yoga mats.
That's so whack. That's so whack.
That's why, like, on the bottom, it kind of feels, like, kind of weird.
Yeah. I always get the flatbread, thankfully. But
yeah. I always got, like, Italian herbs and cheese.
Oh, yeah. Now I kind of want Subway, but at the same time, it's like, I don't.
I
like,
don't.
Oh.
There's so many better sub places, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Firehouse, fire.
Yeah, Quiznos is pretty good. Oh, Firehouse is really good, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, it's
like
a bit
$15,
pricier.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
around that. I haven't had Quiznos in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't had Quiznos since I was a kid, and Mr. Sub too.
There used to be a Quiznos like 2 minutes away from us.
Yeah,
I don't know where there's.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it.
It obviously closed down, but I think there's one by Firehouse. Isn't there one across the street?
Oh yeah. Which is weird. Like, why would you have like? There's like 3 Subway, or there's a Subway there too, I think.
Yeah, like right down the street.
Yeah,
right across the street from.
There's 3 Subway spots in one place.
Yeah.
Also, there's been so many places that have actually closed down in Oakville. Like, we haven't had a Taco Bell in like 10 years. How was that? How have we not had a Taco Bell?
That's facts. Isn't there only one in malls?
Yeah, there's like, I think the closest one is either in Milton on like Steeles Avenue or Square One.
Okay.
Which is like half hour
Isn't
away.
there one in Mapleview?
Oh, actually, yeah, I think there might be one in Maple. Oh, yeah, like the connected one.
Yeah.
Yeah, before, like, it was Taco Bell and a KFC, I think. And now there's, like, literally nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
They replaced it.
I haven't had Taco Bell in a long time either.
Yeah, I've had Taco Bell, like, once in, like, 3 years. And
how was it?
It was good.
Remember we went to the mall? And then you're like, yeah, I'm going to experiment. This guy comes back with Taco Bell.
Yeah. I was like, hey, because as a kid, I didn't like Taco Bell. I remember one of our friends, like, someone he knew, maybe his grandma or something, like, didn't own a Taco Bell, but, like, had something to do with it. Mm-hmm. So he'd always have it. And he's like, it's so good. I'm like, nah, I don't like, because I was very picky. Mm-hmm. And I didn't like beans and stuff like that. But now I'm like, oh, it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to try it again.
Yeah. But along the lines of fast food, we took to our Instagram. We asked you guys to give us some discussion topics, see what you want us to talk about.
We got a lot of food ones.
A lot of food ones. The first one was, what is the best fast food? So right along the lines of what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's Wendy's.
Wendy's? Wendy's is up there. It's probably the one I have the most.
Yeah.
I like the food places. Does Starbucks count as fast food? Is that fast food? I assume it is.
I guess. I would put Starbucks, like, if you're talking about drinks, then yeah.
They have food.
They do have food.
They have sandwiches.
I've never had Starbucks food, actually. I've only had, like, a cookie.
It's pretty good, actually.
Really?
Like, their sandwiches are pretty good.
It is very good quality over there at Starbucks. I'd say Wendy's there because, like, the same thing as you. I've probably gone there the most. Like, McDonald's, I've never, like, actively said, like, hey, let's go to McDonald's. Yeah. I've only ever gone there because someone else wanted to. Mm-hmm. Besides that, like, I've never really gone to Burger King or Harvey. Like,
Burger King has been a minute. I think the last time I had Burger King, I was in Vancouver.
Oh. And then, like, Arby's, I've, like, never even had a thought to want to even try it.
Yeah, Arby's, I know a lot of people, like Arby's. I think my dad likes Arby's. I think I've had it once. I don't remember if I liked it or not.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you one thing on them. Dude, A&W is one of them, like, that I never had when I was younger, but I had, like, first year res because it was, like, right there next to our building. Yeah. Unreal. And it's super cheap, too. So it's, like, it's a good deal, especially if you're on a budget.
Harvey's. I haven't had Harvey's in a while, but I know a lot of people like Harvey's.
Harvey's have really good burgers. And then I think they serve hot dogs, too. Like, they got if you have a good selection, I'm with it. Like Wendy's, like I'll get a chicken sandwich one time, a burger. You can get like a salad.
Is there any like fast Popeyes?
Oh,
Popeyes is a good
Popeyes.
one.
Bro, I've been wanting to compare like the Popeyes chicken sandwich to the Chick-fil-A one for so long. There's Chick-fil-A in Toronto, but every time we went there it was so busy. Now I think it's like probably opened up a bit.
Yeah.
I need to compare them because I like the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Is
I've
fire.
never had Chick-fil-A. I want to try it so bad.
I had it once in the States, but I was not like, I wasn't really paying attention to eating it because I was so mad that at that exact moment my sister was at a Foot Locker right next to the building and she met David Dobrik. So I was just sitting there pissed off, like I didn't get to meet David. Because at the time he was my favorite YouTuber. Like I would watch him all the time. Now he's in a little bit of tough waters, but he's making a comeback. I think he posted like 2 new videos. But yeah, I need to try Chick-fil-A again because I didn't really get to fully experience it.
I want to try Chick-fil-A. But as of right now, I'll probably go Wendy's, and if Starbucks count, I'll go Starbucks.
Yeah,
I'm a Starbucks boy.
Ooh, I would say Tim's is up there, but since Burger King took over, it's brutal.
Fell off.
Like the egg is awful.
Fell off a cliff.
Like the coffee isn't even as good as it used to be. Well, I would have heard. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea, but
nah, their coffee's not it. Their iced coffee's disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, you maybe even put Dairy Queen up there because the Blizzards are just so good that I have to include them.
Yeah. I had my first Blizzard in a while last week on Father's Day.
Which one did you get?
Cookie dough.
Ooh,
small cookie.
It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Blizzard on Father's Day too. Bro, speaking of ice cream, Marble Slab just opened up over there by our house. It's like $7.50 for 1 scoop.
Yeah, you told me that. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal. I can't go there. Like, it's too expensive. Like, I can get a
and I'd rather have a Blizzard.
Yeah, and you can get a medium Blizzard for way less, which is it's
better.
just highway robbery over there, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of new stores opening up, though. I'm pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
But another food question. What is a food that was discontinued that you would want to be brought back? Immediately to my mind, Intense Pickled Doritos.
Those are my favorite chips of all time.
So fire. I remember I went to, it's called Teen Ranch for like a hockey bonding thing, and one of the guys had it, and he let me take it home because, I don't know, he's feeling sick. And I had one, and I was like, this is it. This is the best I've ever had.
It's my favorite chip ever, and they discontinued it, which sucks.
Ever since they got rid of it, when I like go to like, if I'm like actively going to like buy a bag of chips, I sit there for 5 minutes like, I don't know which one to get. When that was a thing, I'd go right to it.
I usually get Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah.
If I were to get chips, I don't really eat chips like that. But also Licks. Remember Licks?
Oh, dude, we would go there if like you had this, like if you finished a reading for the month or whatever. You get
funny
to go to
funny story about that. When we were in grade 6, we had this thing called Rah Rah. It was called Read at Home. So basically you had to read at home every day for half an hour, and you had to get your mom or your dad to sign it. And I did it. Well, I didn't read. I just got my mom to sign it. Yeah. And then at the end of the year, you didn't get it, and a couple of our other friends didn't get it either. Yeah. So I was the only one of our friend group that was going, and our teacher felt bad for me, so she gave you the form.
Oh, I remember that. I got to go, yeah.
And you didn't sign it.
Oh, I didn't actually go. I remember that. I didn't get it signed.
You didn't sign the
form.
I
totally forgot, and I felt so bad. Dude, because I think with that, too, I think I did actually read. I just never got my parents to sign it. Because even with tests, they'd be like, oh, get your parents to sign it. I'm like, I'm not showing this to my parents. I got a 45. Like, no way. But yeah, I felt so bad. Because like she went out of her way to do it for me, and I didn't do it.
I remember I got this like Walter Payton book.
Bro,
didn't read it.
That teacher was blessed. I remember one time this sounds bad. I accidentally punched her in the stomach because I don't know. It was you, me, and Josh. We were sitting there doing like some karate or boxing, random, whatever, what kids do in grade 6. And I was like, "Yo, watch this." And I did this.
What we did at grade 6, kids don't.
Yeah, I don't know if kids do that now. Now they vape and stuff like that. So I don't know. But I like went like that, and I didn't realize she was standing there, and I hit her, and I was like, "I am so sorry." She's like, "Oh my god, it's totally fine." I'm like, bro, if that was any other teacher, I'd be sent to the office.
Yeah, I just walked with her. Like, we just talked about, like, she tried to talk about sports with me, but, like, I could tell she didn't have as much knowledge. So I was, like, trying to carry conversation. But I was a shy kid, so it was tough.
Oh, yeah. Whenever teachers would try to get, like, stuff out of me, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
In elementary school. In high school, I opened up a little bit. But
yeah, high school was a lot more fun with teachers.
Yeah.
But going back to chips here, one of the questions was Lay's or Ruffles?
Ruffles.
Ruffles 100%.
I hate the texture of Lay's.
Brutal. It's
Lay's,
too thin.
Their flavor isn't bad.
Yeah, I think they have maybe one of the best flavor selections, but it's so thin. Like when I'm eating a chip, I need a crunch.
Yeah.
Like I'd put. What would you say is your favorite chip brand?
Doritos, probably.
I agree, but they need more selection. They got like so little things. I'd say like Miss Vicky's is up there too, but once again, they have very few things, and they're all like
cool.
They're all really rich.
They have this one spicy dill pickle. I had it at Joe's house.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
That and that I would always have like the Applewood smoked barbecue, but you can only have like, which is I guess it's good because if otherwise I'd eat the whole bag, but I can only have like one bowl because there's just so much on them and it's so rich that I can't eat like a whole bag. Well, I guess it's good, but
Miss Vicky's is cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably go Doritos though. Ruffles is good too.
Yeah,
They're
Doritos
all dressed Ruffles are.
They're so good. I remember they had like a mozzarella stick one, and that was like the one time like a random bag came out that actually tasted like it sounded.
Really?
Because there's so many that are like hot wings or like cheeseburger.
Yeah,
it tastes
I've seen
nothing
those.
like that.
I've never had any of those.
I tried the cheeseburger one. It literally just tasted like mustard, and I hate mustard, so that didn't go over well.
Honey mustard's fire.
Honey mustard's good, yeah. I think there's like a Miss Vicky's flavor of that or something like that. Miss Vicky just does random stuff.
It.
Yeah, I'll never actively go and get that bag because I'll always just go to a go-to like Doritos or like sweet chili heat, something like that. But other than food, we got some other questions here. One, hit for hit, who is better, J. Cole or Kendrick?
J. Cole. My opinion hasn't changed.
Yeah, like
the opinion isn't going to change.
So for me, like, yeah, it's J. Cole for me. He's my favorite out of the two. I think I'd say Kendrick is better. Like, if I'm going on record, I'm saying Kendrick's better. I think hit for hit wise, if I'm at a party,
more hits.
I think J. Cole, because here's the way I look at it. If I am at a party and I'm on aux, I'm gonna play a J. Cole song because it's gonna get the whole party going crazy. Like everyone knows the words. Kendrick is more like lyrical and like ahead of his time, where you're looking at his discography and you're like, oh, these are masterpieces. This is like if you're going on a long car ride, you'll put on an album. But J. Cole is more like, he's more of like a hit kind of guy. And also like one of the things you said, like about, the off season coming out.
Yeah, we were texting about this a couple days ago when we posted this and we got this question. I already like J. Cole more, and he just dropped an album where I don't think he missed.
Yeah.
So the gap's gotten bigger. And also I don't dislike Kendrick. Kendrick's fine. I just don't like him as much as other people.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been saying this whole
I think
time.
he's really good, and I'm excited for his next album. I think he's probably like the most influential of the rappers that have come in the last 10 years. But I would never like play his song over one of J. Cole's. I would maybe play one of his albums, but I still think 2014 is my favorite of the bunch. But like Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, they're more like you're going to play the whole album and you're going to enjoy it. It's not as much like I'm going to select a song. Obviously, there are great singles that you would play, but you're more likely to get a crowd like going with the words with a J. Cole song. So that's the way I look at it, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. Another one here. Will the Raptors ever take over the Leafs as Toronto's team?
Not for a while. Toronto's a hockey city.
Yeah. And it's like the biggest in the league for the NHL as well, so that helps it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said beforehand, like if basketball grows in Canada, which it will and which it has since the Raptors have been successful, like if kids start playing basketball more than hockey, then absolutely I could see that happening.
I could see kids playing basketball more just because it's a lot more cost efficient and it's still fun.
And even us, like when we go out and play a sport, we're playing basketball. We're not playing mini sticks or hockey. Like it's a lot harder to play hockey, just like you said.
It's easier to learn basketball.
Exactly, yeah. I think the one way I see it happening is if the Raptors have a dynasty or if they win another championship and they're in the conference finals every year kind of thing, then it'll be like, oh, Raptors will take over.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the moment the Leafs have success, it's over. Like it's like the city's going nuts.
Bro, we thought the city went crazy for the Raptors winning the title. Imagine if the Leafs won the Stanley Cup.
Because it's so many years in the making. They're now, I think they have the biggest drought from teams that have won already. So, like, yeah, just once it happens,
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts. I think it'll be really tough to surpass them. I just think that Toronto, even if like, because people say like, oh, Toronto's the better team. Like the Leafs haven't won in forever. It's still like the people bleed blue. Like they want them to win so bad. There's a reason why people are so heartbroken.
It's like in LA when the Lakers were bad for those 6 years and the Clippers were really good.
Yeah.
It's still a Laker town.
Exactly.
No one cares about the Clippers.
Yeah. Like even
in a general sense. Obviously there's Clipper fans, but
you can say the same thing about in New York too. Like the Islanders are going to Game 7 of the conference finals. It's still a Rangers city. The Mets went to the World Series. They're still Yankees fans.
The Nets had to use a promo code Harden to sell out their arena.
Yeah.
Whereas the Knicks sold out in like 10 minutes.
They have 3 superstars and they still need like help to sell out. Also, on that note, I want to mention the whole KD thing. I think we need to give KD a pass on
He's
the blame.
A pass for the most part.
Guy averaged 43 in the games 5, 6, and 7. Played pretty much every minute. The guy was dead. First of all, he hit the game tying shot, and if his foot wasn't so big, he would have hit the game winner. And he didn't hit it in overtime. Whatever. He was tired. But if LeBron was in that situation, and I know you're like, oh, you always bring up LeBron, but if LeBron's in that situation, people are hating on him. If you
He's
go,
getting ripped.
Yeah, if you go 0 for 4 in overtime, they're going, oh, how do you not hit a shot?
And airball the last shot.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting ripped.
And it's like, listen, the guy played every minute of the game. He really didn't have much help. Joe Harris was not very helpful. Bruce Brown had a good game. They barely used Jeff Green, which
Jeff Green only played like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
He didn't take a shot.
Yeah, and it's like
Harden shouldn't have played.
Yeah, he really should. Like, I give him a break because he was hurt, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm not expecting you to finish at the basket, but if you're going to take 10 threes, I want you to hit at least 3
Here's
or 4.
my thing, though. If you're going to play after you lose, don't say, oh, I played with a hamstring strain.
Exactly.
Just don't play then.
Yeah. If you really had a big problem,
if you're hurt,
then don't play.
If you're hurt, don't play.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
At the end of the day, like, your hamstring wasn't the reason you weren't hitting a shot, you know? Like, you were still doing all those crazy moves, doing a step back. You bricked it. So
you were still jumping into Giannis and falling after
exactly.
the shot.
You're not helping your case there. And on the other hand, in game 1 of that Hawks-Bucks series, first of all, Trae Young, oh my God.
Yeah.
First player ever to, I think, have 45 and 10 assists in a game. In a conference finals game. I think I saw that stat somewhere. It was
45.
45 and
Booker
10
just had
assists.
40 and whatever.
Yeah, so he was close.
Yeah.
But, which, again, another crazy performance. But yeah, Trae and the Hawks, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'd take Trae over Luka. No. Matt, put Luka on the Hawks instead of Trae, and that team's winning. Also in that, like, it seems like Middleton and Holiday can never be good at the same time.
In fact, it's like when one plays amazing, the other one just can't get it going.
Because Holiday was hitting 5 for 12 from 3. Like, he had been bricking every 3 I'd ever seen him take in that series.
33
yeah,
in game 1.
Something crazy.
And then Middleton just was nowhere to be seen.
And we always talk about Holiday as this all-defensive guy, and he's guarding Trae, and Trae's got 48. Obviously, there's at points when you're guarding a superstar, or a guy like that, a superstar-esque player, they're going to be able to just ball no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you're looked at as this all-around defensive player, like, you got to be able to minimize it a little bit.
Control it to a certain extent. You can't shut somebody like him down, but control it as much as you can.
Yeah.
For as much flack that Ben Simmons was getting, he did a great job on Trae Young in Game 7.
He was a great defender. Just this guy's got zero confidence in his shot. Like when he passed up that open dunk, I just watched like angrily. It's like I wish I had your body so I could go out there and like apparently like I hear he's getting babied in Philly. Like he's only got yes men around him and stuff like that. Like this is the off season where it's like if he's really staying in Philly, it's time to
they have to trade him.
Originally, I thought like I remember we had talked about it. Not on the show, but like when we like with Joe and stuff, like initially being like, oh, maybe we can do a Simmons, Harris, and a pick for maybe like a Lillard. Now that's not even on the table because Simmons was just so horrible.
I love Ben Simmons, and I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here.
Go ahead.
Like, I love Ben Simmons. I've always loved Ben Simmons. I always thought he was gonna be like the next LeBron sort of player, like the next guy, the next big, strong, fast player who can control the game.
Yeah,
great passer.
Great defense.
He is a great passer. Like I'm not taking that away from him. One of the best defenders. I would take him as the best defender in the NBA just because of his versatility. He can guard
1 through 5.
1 through 5. But he hasn't improved his shooting.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's wrong with him. And maybe it is a confidence thing, like you said, which confidence definitely has something to do with it. You don't just pass up an open dunk.
Yeah.
But you look at somebody like Lonzo Ball and like the improvement he's made. In his rookie year, he shot, I think, 31% from 3, and he was under 50% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
He's in, year 4 now? Lonzo Ball is, and he's shooting high 30s in 3-point.
He was shooting, I think, better than Booker from 3 this year.
And almost 80% from the free throw line. That's improvement. Ben Simmons peaked as a rookie.
Yeah, for sure. Even Markelle Fultz has improved a lot. They always ragged on his free throw shooting. And
it's like, what are you doing in the offseason? Either you're not putting in enough work or you're not putting in the right work.
Yeah.
And it's been long enough to where I think it's the first one.
There's legit video of Ben Simmons just taking jumpers from like the key and just bricking them. Mm-hmm. It's like, I could take anybody we know and they can hit that shot.
I know. And it's like, as somebody who wants him to be good and I love Ben Simmons, but like I've given up on him because it's like you have made no improvement.
And you can see it, like part of the problem too is when he's taking a free throw, he's shooting it like this. Tuck your elbow in. Like I've never seen anyone shoot like that before. Also, people are saying he may change his shooting hand because he's shooting with the wrong hand. Yeah, I heard like why.
He's naturally right-handed, I guess.
Wasn't it like his dad that did that, like caused him to shoot like that, and then the team just went along with it?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he's naturally right-handed.
It's like just At this point, you try anything.
Well, he's
Ambidextrous.
Yeah. Because I know LeBron is too. LeBron's left-handed.
Which is
but
nuts.
But he shoots right-handed because he saw, I think, Jordan shoot right-handed.
Oh, really?
So he wanted to shoot right.
Fair
Or like
enough.
all of his favorite players shot right-handed.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to be that one.
There's not too many lefties. I didn't think of like Russell, Harden, Ingles. After that, I don't know.
There's some,
But yeah, and that
Simmons needs to improve.
And that Suns Clippers game too. The last minute and a half took like a half an hour. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like the last,
And-
what was it, a minute 45 took 33 minutes?
Yeah, the last 30 seconds I think took like 20.
The last 0.7 seconds took 8 minutes.
Yeah, which first of all, like Tyronn Lue, it just your colors showed when you allowed, you took Cousins, Batum, and Zubac off the floor. It's like just have a little bit of respect for the game. You know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hawks coach was getting pissed, or not the Hawks coach, the Suns coach.
Monty Williams.
He was getting pissed.
Who,
and
by
I
the way,
loved it.
should have won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I think so. Because, yeah, like they didn't come out of nowhere, but it's like he had incredible performance in the bubble, and just to be able to go from a lottery team to the number 2 seed
They
in
had
the
the
West.
second worst record in the NBA 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now they have the second best when he took over.
Incredibly impressive. But yeah, just I didn't like the Clippers, what they were doing there. But one of the things is that Booker shot. Obviously, like you talked about, it wasn't talked about enough because George comes back and hits the shot, basically the same shot. But Booker, he's got Beverly on him, one of the best perimeter defenders in the game, and Beverly's hand's right there, and Booker's just waiting for him for his hand to come down. Because
elevating.
He literally had that shot blocked the whole time, and as soon as his hand came down, he released it on his way down and hit it. Like, so impressive. Like, I was sitting there geeking, like, just like the little things that I had me going crazy, because what a play.
I remember before when we did our NBA preview, like our NBA playoff preview, we said Booker's gonna play great, but DeAndre Ayton we were unsure about him because he's never been in the playoffs. Obviously Booker hadn't been either, but I feel like Booker he's kind of, his mentor was Kobe, so you kind of think he'll embrace the moment.
Yeah,
DeAndre Ayton, I wasn't really sure, but he's showed out
for sure. I love the way the young big men have been playing, because John Collins too, he's been balling out as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see the guys that have been ragged on a little bit that are coming into their own.
Yeah,
they're
calling the play the Valley Oop. I like that.
That was what a pass from Jay Crowder too.
Yeah, he's not getting enough credit for that.
Yeah, and man, one of the things too is Van Gundy was talking about it too. The out of bounds rule kind of needs to change, because the ball went off Booker, but it was Beverly's fault that it went out.
That's not the rule. Isn't who touched it last, is who forced it to go out of bounds. So it's off the Clippers.
There's a lot of rules that are going to be changed this offseason, like the shooting into a defender, the way it's out of bounds. Like I think a lot of stuff's going to change.
Because I remember that Christmas Day game against the Clippers? It was the same thing. He elevated for a shot, and Beverly poked it out of his hands and went out of bounds. They reviewed it, and it was off. LeBron touched it last, but Beverly forced it to go out of bounds, so it's off Beverly.
Yeah. It just makes sense to do it, whoever is the reason it went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because like Booker, like he didn't want that ball to go out.
If we're doing it off of who touched it last, you can review literally every single out of bounds
Exactly.
play.
You'd have to, because it's so hard to tell most of the time. But yeah. Another question that we'll go back to the questions here. This is a tough one. What's the best Christopher Nolan movie?
I've only seen the Dark Knight trilogy and what's that?
Inception?
Inception.
Yeah.
I love Inception. Probably like in my top 10 favorite movies. But The Dark Knight is my favorite movie.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's tough, because Dark Knight and Inception are my two favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to say Dunkirk is his best movie. Dunkirk. The war movie he did about, the Brits.
Was that the one that's all one shot? Or is that a different
No.
That's 1970s.
1917, yeah. Dunkirk is like, it's three, once again with the time, but it's three different timelines. It's day, hour, and like, I don't even know, another thing. Like it's three, like in the air, one's on the sea, and the people are on land, and it just shows like the difference, and they all kind of come together. I think that's his best movie. I think that's his masterpiece, because you can say like Dark Knight and Inception are his masterpieces because they're the movies that'll live on forever and everyone's going to talk about. But Dunkirk, I think it showed that Nolan can do more, because he's always been doing the sci-fi-esque type thing with bigger, larger-than-life characters. Dunkirk wasn't about anybody specifically. It was about the story itself and the people who came to the rescue. It was never about an individual, and it kind of just showed that he can like go off in his own way and show a unique level. And I think it has the best war movie shot ever. Like there's a shot where like there's a plane flying over and it's dropping like bombs on all the people waiting for the boats to come. And they all like, there's just a shot of like the guy's head like down on the ground like this, and just the explosions coming closer and closer. It's one of the coolest shots you'll ever see if you see the movie. I think that's his best movie.
No, I haven't seen it. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, but Nolan, I mean, he's got so many. Like Interstellar is another incredible one. I've seen every Nolan movie except for the first one he did, which had like a $6,000 budget. It's like called The Following or something like that. But yeah, another question along the lines of that was top 5 favorite directors. Do you have a top 5?
That's a you question. I can name like 3, maybe 5 directors off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Nolan, Martin Scorsese, what's his name? Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Tim Burton. I know Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah. He's known for making like the wacky kind of movies. Not wacky, but outlandish, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, this asks for top 5 movies and your favorite, or top 5 directors and your favorite from that director. One, I'm going to have to go with Christopher Nolan, just because every single movie he's made I've absolutely loved. My favorite, I'm going to say Inception, because it's just the one that I'll always go back to and I'll always learn something else from, like, or I'll pick up something new. 2, Marty Scorsese. I want to say Wolf of Wall Street's my favorite, but I'm going to go with Goodfellas because it's just an instant classic. Just the kind of the classic rise and fall story. 3, once again, we're going to go with Quentin Tarantino.
I know those 2 more because of you talking about them than I do their movies themselves.
Yeah. I like just want a huge movie binge. I've become like a movie buff. I want to just talk about movies all the time, to be honest. But yeah, Tarantino, that's tough to name a favorite because he's just in his own lane in terms of like what he shows in movies, like the violence, the dialogue. It's all so unique. Favorite, I'm going to go with Inglourious Bastards because I like the way he kind of changes. Basically, the movie, like, it's like Hitler and stuff like that.
Right.
And he, like, changes history. He kind of does it with his new movie, too. Number 4, I'm going to go with David Fincher. Because I love... He's, like, a perfectionist. He's a guy that'll literally take 80 takes. And just waiting for every single actor to be perfect to do it.
I know Steven Spielberg, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a classic one. He's got so... Like, Jurassic Park, Jaws. Like, he's got all the blockbusters, I'd say. But yeah, Fincher, I think my favorite movie would be Zodiac, but I think his best work is The Social Network. Just because, like, he took a story of someone creating Facebook, and he made it one of the most interesting movies I've ever seen.
Pretty sure I've seen that movie.
It's really good.
I think I watched it in school, though.
Yeah.
So I had to do, like, an analysis after. It was stupid.
Andrew Garfield killed that movie. I think there's, like, Justin Timberlake. Yeah, Justin Timberlake's in it as well. Mm-hmm. 5th one's tough. I was thinking of a lot of directors, because there's so many, like Spielberg, you could say George Lucas.
Oh, yeah, George Lucas.
Yeah.
I know him, too.
Alejandro Inarritu, people like that. But I'm going to go with Denis Villeneuve. Prisoners is my favorite movie from him. I think like it's just basically a story about 2 kids that are abducted, and just kind of the story unfolds from there. It's crazy good. He's also made like the new Blade Runner movie. Like the cinematography in his movies are incredible. So I'm excited. And he's got a new movie coming out called Dune with like you should see the cast, like the 15 actors. You know all of them. Like it's going to be. I think everyone's just going to see that movie because of the actors that are in it. But yeah, those are my 5. Those are my top 5. I'd say I can go on a tangent about that, but try to keep it simple. Next question though: who is the worst NBA playoff performer?
This year or like?
I think this year.
I'd assume it'd be this year because I can't go back to NBA history, but I'd say like. Probably Porzingis.
Yeah, I agree. I was like thinking like either Drew. I'd say like Drew and Middleton combined whenever one of them's not playing well.
Yeah.
But it has to be Kristaps because you look at him as the second option. You look at him as a star on that team, and he just hasn't been.
Yeah.
And it's like you hear so much about him being like, oh, I want to be the number one guy, but it's like you haven't proven that you can be that guy. You have to play
like a number one guy.
Exactly.
To be the number one guy.
Like. As the second option, you have the pressure taken off of you. That should be able to, go out on your own and say, "Hey, give me the ball. I'm about to take over the game." Not once did he ever do that. It's always had. It always had to be Luka bringing up the ball and making something happen.
In the corner.
Yeah,
yeah. He had a big 3. I think in game. I think it was 5 or 6.
Yeah,
that put them up 10, maybe in an earlier game. But that's really all he did all playoffs. That's the biggest impact he made. That one shot. Other than that, he did nothing.
Yeah, they're going to have to... There's a lot of teams that need to do something new. Or not something new, but have to make changes. Mm-hmm. Dallas is going to have to get rid of Kristaps because it hasn't worked.
No.
Philly's going to possibly move away from Ben.
Mm-hmm. I read something this morning that the Nets may listen to offers for Kyrie.
That would be really interesting. I wonder what he'd do, because if he goes
He
to a
just
place
seems like the type of guy who'd be like, if you trade me, I'm retiring.
yeah, I could see. Yeah, if it's a place where he doesn't want to play at all, he's like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Which I would feel so bad for the team that grabs him.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't even trade for him. They'd have
Yeah,
to get
exactly.
assurance from him first.
That's the thing. Like, do you trade for Kyrie if you have the opportunity? Because one, it's like, who you giving up, and do you have assurances that he's going to want to play?
Yeah, that's true.
And then he's going to, if he is going to play, is he going to play the whole season, or is he going to take weeks off? Like, you never really know.
Apparently, that's part of the reason they were really mad about him taking that little break that he took.
Yeah.
And they said he went to I think it was his sister's birthday party.
Yeah.
He didn't have a mask on.
It's like, I get it if you need a break, I guess, and it's for personal reasons. But if one, you don't give a reasoning for it. Two, you're not actually doing what you say you're doing. And three, it's like, this is your job. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and you're not going to show up for work.
Yeah, you can't just take a break.
Yeah, you can't.
Unless it's like he didn't even tell the team. He told his teammates, but he didn't tell the coaches or
which is just
office.
That's disrespectful. It really is.
Yeah.
They're your coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't imagine ever like doing that to like, if I ever didn't show up for practice, I get to practice. Like, where the hell were you?
Yeah,
we're not getting paid.
We're
paying.
Yeah, I told him.
Yeah, like exactly. That doesn't work. Another thing with the Nets is, like, I kind of look at it with the Harden trade. It's like, they don't make that. Obviously, super unfortunate for the Nets that Kyrie goes down and Harden has the hamstring problem. But they don't make that trade for Harden. They have LeVert and Allen in the lineup. Allen's interior defense helps so much in that Bucks series. LeVert's facilitating is huge. I think the Nets win that series if they have those two instead of Harden. Obviously, because
because Harden was barely there.
Yeah, but it's just in retrospect, like,
if Harden's healthy, I think they win. The series.
But it's like, I also just look at it, it's like long term. Like, once Durant's gone, you'd have LeVert and Allen there for the rest of their careers, and you build someone else into the lineup. Mm-hmm. I remember when we talked about that trade in the first place, I think that was a bad move. Because it's like, yes, if they're all healthy and they're all playing really well, it's a great move. But they weren't, and they didn't.
I said it wasn't a good trade because I was worried about who was going to take the step back.
Yeah.
And it ended up being Harden, so it worked out. When they were all on the floor, they were great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough.
It's a weird spot.
You hate to see it.
Yeah.
But do we though?
Not really. I don't want to see super teams. So I'm totally fine. Like, listen, I love KD. He's my second favorite player in the league. And it was weird. Like, we watched the game together.
Yeah, this dude was like cheering for Giannis hitting a layup, and then the next shot, KD hits a step back. He's like, "Oh my God, let's go!"
Yeah,
like, who are you cheering for?
I want KD to drop 50 in a loss every game, basically, because I don't want the Nets to win, but I just want to see him succeed. It's kind of like Curry too. Like, when they were in the finals with, like, I had Curry and KD on the same team. Like, they're my two favorite players. I didn't want them to be on the same team, but it's like, how am I not going to cheer for them?
That's going to be like me with Julio Jones next year. I'll be like, goes for 200, but they lose by 30.
Yeah, exactly. That's like when the Leafs play Pittsburgh. Like, every time the Leafs score, I'm pumped. But if Crosby scores, I'm getting fired up. Like, all right, let's go. That's another goal on the record. Yeah. But yeah, last question we have here is: do you have any free agent hot takes in any of the big four sports?
I remember seeing that and I had to think about it because, like, I was thinking because I feel like it's more for basketball and hockey. Yeah, because those are the free agencies that are kind of coming up. For the NFL, I had one, but it kind of got shot down this morning. I said Devontae Adams is going to leave Green Bay.
Yeah, which seemed like a guarantee earlier.
Yeah, but he said he's probably going to stay. Yeah. He doesn't plan on leaving. So after thinking about it, I'm going to say Kyle Lowry will get signed and traded to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Ooh, I could see that. I could also kind of see that with DeRozan too, possibly, because it's the only way the Lakers can get them.
Yeah, the Lakers can't sign a big free agent outright. They would have to do a sign and trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Lowry's probably the best one. I saw a thing that they may go after Russ.
Really?
I don't like that's not a good fit.
I just don't think that would work. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want Lowry, to be honest. For like LeBron, I want LeBron to run point guard. He's a natural point guard.
Yeah. And it's easier to fill a lineup with forwards, I feel like, than guards.
Yeah, it's much easier to just fill it out with shooters. Yeah. Because then you know what you need.
Exactly.
And I guess Lowry would work because Lowry can work off ball. He's worked off ball before. He can catch and shoot better than Schroeder could. Yeah. So I don't think the fit would be. That's probably the best fit of all the point guards that are being thrown around. So I'll say he'll sign a 2-year, $50 million contract, something along those lines, and they'll trade. I don't even know, to be honest. I don't know the contract situations and how they'd like. Maybe throw a third team in there. Yeah, I could see a third team be added. But it's interesting.
I'll
say Lowry to LA.
Yeah, it's interesting that all the teams that were going for Lowry, the Heat, Sixers, Clippers, and Lakers, Well, actually, no, the Clippers are still in. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're all out. But the Clippers are still there. But I mean, they're down 2-0. Kawhi's still not back.
I don't think Lowry would have made a big difference because I don't think he would have stopped the injuries.
Yeah, exactly. With the Lakers, I don't think it changed anything. With the Clippers, I think it helps a bit because having Lowry there with George right now, and then if Kawhi comes back, I think it's a 1-1 series if you have Lowry there. Because he does add a lot of veteran presence, and he's going to be the guy that's not going to let BS happen on that team.
Yeah. And if it was Philly, I mean, you still would have had Ben Simmons.
Exactly.
So who knows how that would have fit.
You probably would have had to give up Maxey, or who played big minutes.
Thibault,
yeah. I just think it's weird that trade never happened at the end of the day for the Raptors because you're getting nothing in return, and I don't know if he's going to resign.
We said at the time he's not. I don't think he's coming back to Toronto.
Yeah.
And like everywhere, he would have to get traded. He would have to get a sign and trade because every team that has interest in him or would have interest in him and who could offer him an opportunity to win, they all can't sign him.
Yeah.
They would have to do it.
And they don't
trade.
really have the pieces to trade for him because it's like you can't say like, oh, Kuzma, like he's not. The Raptors don't want Kuzma. Or whoever. I could see him maybe signing with Philly just because he's from Philadelphia. But at the same time, it's like he knows he's the greatest Raptor ever. He almost maybe would want to just kind of re-sign or retire.
I think he wants to. He said he wants to win, didn't he?
Yeah. But he also said, like, no matter what, I'm retiring as a Raptor. So it could be like he'll win a title and then sign like a 30-day or 10-day contract.
He'll try to win somewhere else and then come back.
Yeah. Which I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
On the page of the Raptors now, though. They get the 4th pick in the draft, which I was freaking out when I was watching. I remember I was sitting there like, I feel like they're going to get a lower pick than they should have got because they were supposed to be 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think when the Pelicans were 7, that's the year they got Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, maybe they get 1, but they get 4. I was ecstatic. It's interesting. Like I'm hearing a lot of talk about what they're doing with the pick. To talk about a Cat trade. I don't like that at all personally because Cat, you don't know what you're going to get from him. Yeah, you can maybe get 28 and 12 a night. But it's only 10 nights you're getting him because he's going to be injured for the next 30 days after that. And really, what has he done for Minnesota?
Not much.
Nothing. So, obviously, the Raptors need a center, but I don't think Cat's that guy.
I remember we talked about it through text. I said if you can get Bradley Beal and you can get assurance from him that he'll sign an extension.
Yeah, it would have to be either like a sign-in trade or he says, like, I'm going to sign after.
Yeah, you would have to get assurance from him because you don't get rid of a 4th overall pick, who is essentially your future.
Yeah.
For
2 years of a guy.
Yeah, because my thinking is, in the NBA, you need a superstar. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
I don't think Bradley Beal is a superstar, but he's a 30-point-per-night guy.
Yeah, he's the guy that would become a superstar on the Raptors, I feel like, because they have the pieces that would... Because Siakam needs to be a second option.
Mm-hmm.
Van Vliet as a third option is way better than him as a second option. Because it takes a bit of the pressure off. And just like you saw in the finals, like he was able to hit big threes. That's what he'd do there. And if you got Beal, a guaranteed 30.
Yeah.
Of upwards of 32. Like,
if they were to do something like... Do what the Lakers did with AD to where they agree upon a trade before the draft.
Yeah.
And let's say like he's going to sign an extension. Let's say this trade goes through. Do it before the draft and don't finalize it until after free agency. So you can still make moves.
Yeah.
Basically cheat the system.
Pretty much.
But basically do that so you can still make the moves you need to make in free agency and then make the trade.
Yeah. The one thing with that trade, though, is you can't give up Siakam, Van Vliet, and maybe even OG.
You have to give up the young guys. Like, I don't really know the Raptors roster off the top of my head, but
it would probably have to be like Malachi Flynn,
Trent.
If he'd have to resign, which he would, I think. He's restricted, so.
It'd be him, Trent, the pick.
Possibly Boucher, but
Boucher
hopefully not, because he's like another guy that.
Because then you have a starting lineup of Van Vliet, Beal,
OG,
Anunoby, Siakam, and then assuming they sign a center in free agency.
Hopefully Rashawn Holmes. I could even see, because like the Lakers announced they're not signing Drummond on a veteran minimum, or he's not going to sign. Mm-hmm. I could see if the Raptors can get him for cheap, I'd take it. Not a big contract. Because
maybe like a mid-level exception.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems the Raptors has is rebounding, and Drummond's one of the best out there. But you can't pay him too much.
Yeah, mid-level exception would be probably what I would expect if you're getting Drummond. It's about $9 million.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
But
or I think they have cap room, so they could probably go get Rashawn Holmes on a 3-4 year contract.
Yeah. With the pick, though, if they're not trading, which I'm good both ways. You make a trade for Beal, a sign and trade, I'm cool with that. But if you keep the pick, obviously Cade's going first to Detroit if they do.
He's only working out with one team.
Yeah, he's very confident, and he wants to be that number one pick, which rightfully so. If you're that guy, you got one thing on your
Which
mind.
he is. He's really good.
Yeah. With it's kind of, you don't really know what's going to happen with 2, 3, and 4 because, like, looking at it right now, Mobley's the guy the Raptors would want because they need a center. And you think, I don't see the Cavaliers because, they got Allen, they got Nance, they have so many big guys. But at the same time, they have Sexton and Garland.
They still somehow have Kevin Love.
Yeah, they might not take a guard, so they might take Mobley. So, obviously, if they're Raptors, I think Webster said this as well. You take the best guy available. I think out of the three, between Mobley, Green, and Suggs, I think Green's the best. But Mobley would be the guy that would help the most. I think Suggs is going to be a really good player. I just think Green, like at 6'6", like the athleticism he has. Suggs is obviously like a great leader. He would fill in like a Kyle Lowry, but I think Suggs is the guy that's like, he could be the best player in the draft.
Yeah. I really only know Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green,
Yeah.
Mobley, and Suggs. Like, those are the only four I really know.
Yeah.
And I'll obviously learn as we get closer to the draft. But I mean, if you get one of those four, if you were to keep the pick, I don't think it's not a bad pick.
Yeah, you're in a good
Can't
spot.
really go wrong with any of those four.
The one thing too is I was anticipating the Raptors to have a higher pick, and I was thinking if they have 7, I'm praying Davion Mitchell's still available because I was watching him in March Madness. I think he could be a top 3, maybe even the best player in the draft. Like, his athleticism is crazy. He's crazy fast. Like, his shooting's great. He's so clutch too, and he's kind of like stone face, like a kind of guy that's like
another D Mitchell who wears number 45.
Yeah, same guy. I'm fine with getting a Donovan Mitchell kind of guy on our team. But yeah, there's a lot of things the Raptors can do with that pick, and I think it's a good time to be a Raptors fan because they weren't a non-playoff team this year. They just had a lot of trouble with injuries. Obviously, they're playing in Tampa. They don't have a home crowd. They were their way every single game because Tampa Bay fans were booing them.
Were they?
Yeah, like they hate, like the Raptors couldn't wait to get out of there. They were doing interviews like, I think I asked Boucher, like, what was your favorite part of Tampa Bay? He was like, leaving. Like, everyone just wanted to go back to Toronto. They missed the food, they missed the people. Like,
yeah,
that's the one thing. It's like, obviously, I get it that Americans don't want to sign in Toronto because it's in Canada, it's colder. But every player that's played there has said, like, it's amazing. And so many people have talked about regretting leaving. Vince Carter regretted leaving. Tracy McGrady regretted it. Yeah. I wouldn't say Bosch because he went on to win 2 titles. But, like, Patrick Patterson said the same thing. Like, he left. He chose to leave. But he's like, if I could stay, if, like, they wanted me back, like, if I had a bigger role, like, I would have loved to stay there. I love Toronto. Mm-hmm. So it's
a lot of people love Toronto. It's just, would you want to sign there?
Yeah. Like, Durant grew up a Toronto fan. LeBron, I remember when he eliminated the Raptors once again, he was just saying, like, listen to this crowd right now. Like, they just got eliminated, and they're loud as hell.
Yeah, I think Charles Barkley or Shaq said it's, like, the best city in the world.
Yeah.
And you can say that, but, like, would they sign with Toronto? I don't think so.
Exactly. It's a matter of, do you want to bag? Do you want to play in your hometown? Or do you really want to win? Like, in Toronto, I think you can win. If you're a superstar, they have all the pieces. They just need that guy. Just like they really proved this year, like with Kawhi going to the Clippers, it really just did prove that Toronto had a great team because the Clippers weren't able to go far. They didn't have a great team. They had They had a couple good players and a decent system, not great coaching. Toronto had great coaching, great defense, a lot of help from a lot of guys that are going to grow. So it's going to be a really interesting offseason for both hockey and basketball because Ovechkin's a free agent.
Is he?
I think he's going to re-sign, but a hot take, I could see him going. Actually, I was going to say I could see him going to LA, but why would he want to go to LA? They're terrible. So, yeah. I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't really have a hot take for
I mean,
for
obviously,
agency.
if you've been watching our show, everything we say seems to, like, not happen. It seems like the opposite thing always happens whenever we say something. So, take everything we say with a grain of salt because we have no idea.
We don't know. We're not the insiders. We're just making predictions.
We're going to wrap up.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below, and we'll see y'all next week. Take it easy.
Stay wild.
Peace.